You can't figure out why a hitter is good by the metrics. The reason is all the good hitters have good metrics. However, the bad hitters, many of them have the same metrics of the good hitters. So their exit velocity, their launch angle, their rotational acceleration, their attack angle, and all these things, all these other things can be very good, and yet they still don't hit. And the answer is launch quickness. The great players have launch quickness. The not so great players don't have it. And the launch quickness, the ability to launch the bat the instant you decide to swing, is critical. And most can't do that. They decide to swing and then they move to a new spot and then swing. Whereas the great hitters, they can launch from the spot they're at the instant they decide to swing. The great hitters load, decide, swing. That's their sequence. That's the order. Load, decide, swing. The not so great hitters decide, then they load or finish their load, and then they swing. And so they have a 2-move launch instead of a 1-move launch. And in order to hit the pitching at the best level, you must have a 1-move launch. This is Luis Robert. Watch his bat path and watch what happens through contact. Watch his wrists through contact. Okay? His bat path, his knob comes straight down. The barrel doesn't arc until it's halfway down, give or take. Okay? It has no speed behind him, and therefore he creates the speed from when it's mostly horizontal until it hits the ball, and watch his top hand roll over. Okay? That's a clear indication that he's pushing the bat forward. His independent arm action is outrunning the turn of his leg, which turns the torso. Okay? Now let's look at Aaron Judge. The rotation of that shoulder line is consistent with the turn of the bat. His barrel gets deep instantly, and there's no rollover through contact. In order to properly analyze swings, you have to look at the video. The metrics are basically irrelevant to determine who can hit and who can't. What you have to determine is where the barrel accelerates, when and where it accelerates. There's significant downward movement of the hands and arms. This is very typical to what we call a seatbelt movement. Attaching the seatbelt in your car, your hands will go from up, down across your chest. That's exactly what's going on here. And the barrel doesn't really accelerate until it's pretty flat and horizontal behind him. The initial movement, obviously the barrel's moving, but it's not being accelerated. Aaron's acceleration is instant. Watch the barrel. It's instant acceleration. So the first thing you have to determine when evaluating a swing is where and when was the barrel launched? When was the whoosh sound occurring? When was the barrel torqued? Okay? Aaron Judge torques the barrel instantly. It's the first thing that happens. Luis Robert doesn't have much torque until pretty much horizontal. And then that torque is a top hand rollover instead of an upward pivot that Aaron Judge has. Aaron Judge's barrel whips through the ball, okay? You can see it right at contact, how the barrel is whipped through the ball, and Luis Robert is pushing through and rolling over to generate force at contact. Luis Robert's force generation, the application of force, happens long after he moves his hands into a position to swing, which happens long after his decision to swing. Aaron Judge's torque happens the instant he decides to swing, and therefore his whoosh is up and behind his head. Okay?